Imagine a story coming out of the British royal family claiming that King Charles has decided to give Catherine, Princess of Wales, an even more important role in the future of the monarchy. But there is one very important question. Did King Charles really give Catherine a second crown? A dramatic story has been circulating online and in some reports. It claims that a private gathering took place in an old royal room in Britain, with senior royals, palace officials, and constitutional advisors present. During the meeting, the story claims that Charles pointed toward Catherine and symbolically connected her with a second crown. The story has been presented as a major power shift inside the monarchy, even suggesting that Charles was giving Catherine a kind of leadership authority above William. But this is where we need to separate fact from speculation. So far, there is no official confirmation of such a private ceremony, a second crown, or any decision by Charles giving Catherine this kind of symbolic authority. The royal family's official records do not confirm such an event, so it would not be accurate to present this as a confirmed royal event. However, the broader story behind it is still interesting, because Catherine's role within the royal family really has become increasingly important. Catherine, Princess of Wales, is the wife of Prince William and a mother of 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. She carries out royal duties and focuses on areas including early childhood and family well-being. Her public role has remained highly visible in 2026 as well. For example, Catherine appeared alongside King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and other members of the royal family at Trooping the Colour in June 2026. And that is the real story. There is no confirmed evidence that Charles gave Catherine a second crown. But are Catherine's responsibilities and importance within the future of the monarchy growing? There are certainly signs of that. And now the bigger question is, why has Catherine's public importance grown so much? And could King Charles's own health journey and Catherine's personal experience with cancer have also influenced the way people see her role? That is where the most important context of this story begins. To understand why Catherine's importance has grown, we need to go back to 2024. That year was a difficult one for the British royal family. King Charles announced that he had been diagnosed with cancer, and in March, Catherine also revealed that she had cancer and was undergoing treatment. The specific details of both of their medical conditions were not made public. Catherine then stepped away from public life for a significant period of time, but in September 2024, she announced that she had completed her chemotherapy and was gradually preparing to return to her public duties. Then, in January 2025, during a visit to the Royal Marsden Hospital, she said that her cancer was in remission. The entire experience created a different kind of connection between Catherine and the public. This was not simply a royal story. Millions of people saw her as a mother and a member of a family going through a serious illness, and then slowly returning to normal life. And that may have become one of her greatest public strengths, relatability rather than visibility alone. But one thing needs to be made clear. Saying that Catherine's popularity has made her the leader of the monarchy is an interpretation, not an official constitutional position. In the British line of succession, Prince William remains the first heir to the throne after King Charles. Catherine's growing public role does not mean William is being bypassed. The real change is that Catherine is increasingly becoming an important public figure in the future of the monarchy. That was also visible through her royal responsibilities. In 2026, Catherine continued taking part in important royal duties. She also holds the position of Colonel of the Irish Guards and has taken part in major ceremonial events connected with the regiment. So Catherine is not simply waiting in the background to become queen someday. She is already carrying out important responsibilities as a senior member of the royal family, and that is what makes this story interesting. Catherine's influence is not coming from a second crown. It is coming from her actual role, her responsibilities, and her connection with the public. King Charles's own health journey makes this context even more significant. But there is no evidence that he is preparing to step down or that the succession is about to change. A monarch eventually has to think about the future of the institution, And that raises a much bigger question. Who can help keep the monarchy relevant, trusted, and connected to the public in the years ahead? And this is where Catherine's growing role becomes especially important. This is where the most interesting question in this story begins. If there is no official confirmation of the alleged private ceremony, or the second crown, then we do not need a secret meeting to understand Catherine's growing influence. Her official responsibilities already tell us a lot. Catherine, Princess of Wales, is now one of the most prominent working members of the royal family. According to the official royal family website, her work has focused on areas including early childhood and family well-being. She has also taken on important military and ceremonial responsibilities. For example, Catherine has been Colonel of the Irish Guards since 2023. In 2025, she attended the St. Patrick's Day event with the regiment, met soldiers and veterans, and presented medals. So it is fair to say that Catherine's role within the monarchy has gradually become more important. But this does not mean she is replacing King Charles or Prince William in a constitutional sense. The British line of succession remains clear. Prince William is the heir to King Charles, and Catherine's growing role does not change William's constitutional position. The royal family's official website identifies William as the Prince of Wales and Catherine as the Princess of Wales. So why is Catherine receiving so much attention? The answer is public connection. For a modern monarchy, popularity is not the only thing that matters. Public engagement, trust, and the ability to connect with people are also important. And Catherine has built a public image that combines traditional royal duties with personal vulnerability. Her cancer diagnosis in 2024 and her treatment brought enormous public attention. After announcing her diagnosis, she spent significant time away from public life to focus on her health and family. She later began returning to public duties. That experience may have changed how many people viewed her, but again, we need to be precise. Saying that Catherine's health journey made her the monarchy's emotional leader is an interpretation, not an established constitutional fact. What we can clearly see is that her public role has continued to grow. And that is why the alleged second crown story became so powerful online. Because the idea of a future queen receiving some extraordinary symbolic recognition sounds dramatic. But the verified reality is much more straightforward. Catherine is already taking on important responsibilities within the royal family. She does not need a secret crown to make that true. And that leads to the biggest question of all. If Catherine's role is already becoming more important, what could that mean for the future of the monarchy under Prince William? That is where the real power shift may be taking place. So, what is the truth behind this entire story? First, there is still no official confirmation of the alleged secret ceremony or the second crown. So, it would not be accurate to call it a confirmed power move by King Charles, or say that Catherine has been placed above William. But that does not mean Catherine's role is not changing. In fact, there are clear signs that her responsibilities within the royal family are becoming more important. Catherine is already one of the most prominent working members of the royal family. She has important public, military, and ceremonial responsibilities, including her role as Colonel of the Irish Guards. But this does not mean she is replacing King Charles or Prince William in any constitutional sense. The line of succession remains clear. Prince William is the heir to the throne, followed by Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Catherine's growing role does not change that succession. So, is King Charles preparing Catherine for the future of the monarchy? It is possible to see her growing responsibilities as part of the wider future of the royal family. But saying that Charles has privately declared her the emotional leader of the monarchy would still be an interpretation, not a confirmed fact. And perhaps that is the biggest lesson from this entire story. Modern royal influence is not created simply by wearing a crown. It comes from public trust, visibility, responsibility, and the ability to connect with people. Catherine has returned to public life after her health crisis, gradually taken on more responsibilities, and continued to play a prominent role within the royal family. So if someone tells you King Charles secretly gave Catherine a second crown and made her the real leader of the monarchy, it is important to stop and check the evidence before sharing it as confirmed news, because there is currently no verified evidence proving that claim. But if the question is Catherine becoming more important to the future of the British monarchy? The answer is much stronger. Yes. Her official responsibilities and public role are clearly becoming increasingly important. And perhaps the real story is not about a secret crown at all. The real story is about what happens after King Charles, and how Prince William will lead the monarchy in the future, with Catherine playing a major role beside him. Because Catherine does not need a secret crown to become an important part of the monarchy's future. Her growing role, her responsibilities, and her connection with the public may already be doing that. And perhaps this is where the story becomes even more interesting. Because the biggest question may not be whether King Charles secretly gave Catherine a second crown. The bigger question is, what kind of monarchy will Prince William and Catherine build when their time comes? Right now, the constitutional position is clear. Prince William is the heir to the throne. Catherine is the Princess of Wales, and together they are already carrying out official duties and supporting the king. So there is no confirmed evidence of Catherine being placed above William. But there is something else worth watching. The royal family is not only about titles and succession anymore. In the modern world, a royal institution also depends on how people connect with it. People want to know who the members of the royal family are, what they stand for, what causes they support, and whether they can connect with ordinary people. And this is where Catherine's role could become especially important. She has already built a public identity around issues such as early childhood and family well-being. She also continues to carry out official engagements as one of the senior members of the royal family. That means her influence does not need to come from a dramatic ceremony. It can grow naturally through the responsibilities she already has. And perhaps that is the real power shift we should be watching. Not a crown, not a secret meeting, not a dramatic announcement, but a gradual change in how important Catherine becomes to the public face of the monarchy. Think about what that could mean for the future. When William eventually becomes king, Catherine is expected to become queen. At that point, her years of public work, her experience with royal responsibilities, and the relationship she has built with the public could become extremely important. But there is another side to this story. A successful monarchy cannot depend on one person alone. William will have his own responsibilities, his own priorities, and his own leadership style. Catherine will have hers. Their children will also eventually become increasingly visible members of the institution. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are already part of the future of the royal family, simply because of their position in the line of succession. So the future of the monarchy is not really about Catherine replacing William. It is about whether William and Catherine can work together to create a version of the monarchy that feels relevant to a new generation. And that is a much bigger challenge than simply becoming king and queen. Because the world has changed dramatically. The public now expects more transparency. Social media has changed the relationship between celebrities, politicians, and royal families. People can see royal appearances almost instantly. They can discuss every speech, every outfit, every gesture, and every decision. That means the royal family can no longer rely only on tradition. Tradition still matters. Ceremony still matters. History still matters. But connection matters too. And Catherine appears to understand that part of the modern royal role. Her public journey has shown a balance between traditional royal duties and personal openness. That does not automatically make her the leader of the monarchy, but it can make her an important part of the institution's future. And there is another important point. The official royal family website continues to describe William as the heir to the throne and Catherine as the Princess of Wales. Their roles are connected, but they are not interchangeable. So if a viral post tells you that Catherine has secretly taken control of the monarchy, that should immediately raise questions. Where is the official announcement? Where is the documented constitutional change? Where is the evidence? Without those things, a dramatic story remains a claim, not confirmed news. And this is something every royal news viewer should remember. A powerful story is not automatically a verified story. Sometimes the real story is actually more interesting than the viral version. In this case, the verified story is that Catherine has an important and growing public role, while William remains the heir to the throne. And that alone could have major consequences for the future. Because when William becomes king, the world will not simply be watching the new king. It will also be watching the woman standing beside him. And Catherine's ability to connect with people could become one of the most important parts of that future partnership. So what do you think? Do you believe Catherine could eventually become the strongest public figure in the royal family after William becomes king? Or do you think Prince William will naturally remain the central figure, with Catherine playing an equally important but supporting role? And what about the original Second Crown story? Do you think it is simply an internet rumor that became bigger than the evidence behind it? Or do you think there could be more to the story that has not been publicly confirmed? There is no need to agree with anyone here. Share your own opinion in the comments. I want to know what people around the world actually think about the future of the British monarchy. If you found this breakdown useful, like this video and share it with someone who follows the royal family. And if you want more royal news, facts, and stories explained without turning rumors into facts, follow or subscribe to the channel. Because the future of the British monarchy is still being written. And the next chapter could be very different from what people expect.